Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's proclaimed the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our Week 13 Fantasy Running Back segment. I'm your host, Jim Sella. I'm in studio today with JDash and Big Easy. Thanks for tuning into the spread. Thank you guys for sitting in.
PPR.
Believe it.
All night.
Let's get it started.
Well, Tier 1, a couple guys that are usually in here already played. Murray, Lynch, Forte, and McCoy all played yesterday. So that just leaves Arian Foster, Le'Veon Bell, and Jamal Charles.
Le'Veon Bell equals beast.
Well, my favorite play this week is Arian Foster. He's questionable, but he is expected to play. But look, Le'Veon Bell put up 200 against Tennessee, and then LaShawn McCoy put up close to 150 against them last week. So Tennessee's run defense is garbage.
PPR garbage.
Tier 2, Eddie Lacy, Rashad Jennings, Andre Ellington, Justin Forsett, and Fred Jackson.
Heard an interesting piece on Eddie Lacy on ESPN. You know his house was destroyed in Hurricane Katrina?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, his house was vanished. They lived in a trailer for a while, and then when he got some money, he had his mom a house built for his mom. So that was kind of a nice story.
Oh, Eddie.
Eddie, yeah.
Damn.
But he's going up against New England this week. They give up the 13th most points to fantasy running backs. He's been on, maybe not on fire all year, but pretty damn close, if not. He's very consistent back for Green Bay. They're featuring him more this year than they have last year. If you got him, he's a no-brainer start, if you ask me.
Fred Jackson came back from an injury last week. He looked okay. He had 32 yards and a touchdown. He didn't play great, but he's always a threat in the passing game, and I expect him to get more and more touches moving forward.
And Justin Forsett's a solid play. He had a couple touchdowns, at least 4 touchdowns over the last 2 games. He's been performing solidly, and with San Diego coming over here on the East Coast, I think that's a good matchup.
I think his nickname's PPR, isn't it?
PPR Forsett.
That's it.
Tier 3, C.J. Anderson, Alfred Morris, and Denard Robinson.
I love it. Denard Robinson just keeps rising up your tiers. He had, his worst week as a starter last week against Indy, but they kind of got a little bit manhandled by the Colts. He only had 25 yards on 14 carries, but he did have 4 catches. He has 389 yards and 4 TDs in his previous 4 games. If he keeps playing this way, I have a feeling Mr. Gerhardt's not going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar next year.
An excellent matchup for him this week, going versus the Giants, who led up the 3rd most of fantasy running backs. I expect a big week out of Denard.
CJ at the top of your Tier 3 list. Anderson from Denver going up against KC, only gives up the 6th fewest points to the running backs. That's going to be a tough matchup for him. I don't know how he's going to fare.
Yes, the thing I like about C.J. Anderson is when he doesn't get it done on the ground, he's used heavily in the passing game, and you know how Peyton Manning loves to spread the ball around.
But he's going to be able to do that in Arrowhead, Sunday night, prime time.
According to me, yes.
Well, there's no show called According to Dash, so we don't really care.
Well, then why am I doing this?
Because you're fantasy PPR beast.
Okay, then.
Moving on.
PPR
word up.
Yeah.
Hashtag Tier 4.
Jeremy Hill, Mark Ingram, Giovanni Bernard, and Trey Mason.
Bernard was a beast last year for Cincinnati. He started off this year pretty hot. He's been outplayed by Hill last week, and he's pretty much been outplayed by Hill, if you ask me, all year as far as consistency when they're both healthy. So if he's probably going to get less touches as it goes down, and Hill might get more. But there's always that chance Bernard can break a big play. 2-3 touchdowns.
So now you're telling me to start Hill over Gio?
For this week, yes. Because Hill had 18 carries last week when Bernard came back, so he still had the majority of carries. He's the better running back in between the tackles, and Tampa Bay is not a good run defense, so Jeremy Hill should have a good game. But listen, I still like Giovanni Bernard. He's used in the passing game, and he makes the big plays. He can come up with 30 points a game, where Jeremy Hill maybe not as much, but he's going to be more consistent moving forward, I think. Tier 5, Jerick McKinnon, Shane Vereen, Lamar Miller, Boom Herron, and Ryan Matthews.
I thought it was Daniel High on Herron. Where'd this boom come from?
His nickname's Boom Herron.
I don't like it. High on.
Well, listen, I like Daniel Herron. Trent Richardson looked like garbage last week. Ahmad Bradshaw's done for the season. If you need a running back, easy, go pick up Boom Herron. He might still be out there for you. He does have a tough matchup this week, but he's used in the passing game. He's expected to be the starter moving forward. He had 12 carries last week for 65 yards, so he looked good, and plus he had 5 receptions. This is the number 1 back in Indianapolis now. I have him ranked a little bit lower this week because Washington has been stopping running backs, but Boom Herron moving forward is a great guy to own. Tier 6, LeGarrette Blount,
Boo!
Isaiah Crowell, Latavius Murray, and Pierre Thomas.
I smell something fishy in the whole Blount situation. I have a feeling he wanted to get cut from the Steelers because I think, what's his name, Belichick was texting him or something, telling him to get released, and then he could come start for the Patriots. Blount was a crybaby. There's a story that he pushed Todd Haley on the sidelines, and as much as I hate Todd Haley, you're not really supposed to be pushing your coaches on the sidelines. A lot of those things led to LeGarrette Blount's departure in Pittsburgh, but he is a beast on the field. He averages almost 5 yards a carry for his career. He had 78 yards and 2 touchdowns on 12 carries last week. For some reason, when he's in a New England uniform, the dude looks like O.J. Simpson.
Why, is he murdering people too now?
Probably. He punches dudes in the face and smokes blunts as he's going to the game and tries to smuggle drugs across state lines.
Tier 7, Trent Richardson, Chris Ivory, Steven Jackson, and Bishop Sankey.
Man, you keep forgetting their nicknames. It's Bishop Cuppo Sankey.
Well, that's a stupid nickname.
Well, you're stupid. Trent Richardson, he's going up against Washington. They give up the 4th fewest points to fantasy running backs. What has happened to this guy in his career? Drafted 4th overall by the Cleveland Browns. Traded to Indianapolis last year in hopes that Indy could catch fire offensively and get that ground game going into the playoffs. And he's just been a flop. He does nothing. He hasn't looked impressive to me at all outside of his rookie year.
His rookie year, he was a beast. And like I said, Boom Herron is the guy to own in Indy now. Trent Richardson is very hard to trust, but when you look at who's underneath him, you still got to give him a shot if that's all you have. Tier 8, Benny Cunningham, Roy Haley Jr., Brandon Oliver, and Doug Martin.
The muscle hamster.
Yeah, he's back as the number 1 back apparently, and he has a good matchup going against Cincy, who lets up the 6th most to running backs. He has double-digit in carries in each of his last 5 games played, so when he does play, he gets the touches. And like I said, he's supposed to be the number 1 back, but I hate Tampa Bay's backfield. I think it should go Sims, Rainey, Martin, but they say Martin, Sims, Rainey, so just got to go with a starter, I guess.
I think Roy Helo could be a sleeper here, possibly. He's been inconsistent, but he's still used in a passing game, and I don't know what options Snake McCoy is going to be able to deal with. So I think he might be able to get some PPR kicking Sunday.
This is a great game for him because he is used in the passing game, and Washington is going to have to pass to keep up in Indy, who lets up the 9th most to fantasy running backs already, so he should have a good game, especially if Alfred Morris doesn't blow up early. Tier 9, Terrence West, Charles Sims, who is questionable, Jonathan Stewart, and Booby Dixon.
Booby. Jonathan Stewart going up against Minnesota. I don't know. Minnesota gives up the 8th most points to fantasy running backs, but I've never really been impressed with Stewart, again, outside of his rookie year. He had a real good rookie year. He's very, very inconsistent in his career. He's splitting time with D'Angelo Williams, and Carolina's Carolina's O-line is garbage. I mean, they could put the 3 of us out there, and we'd play just as well as these losers. So it's going to be a tough matchup for him. He has 106 yards and 1 TD over his past 3 games. But again, if he's the guy out of this tier or lower, if you got him, you're pretty much stuck starting him. So you got to hope he catches fire and runs all over Minnesota. But I don't know. I don't see that happening.
Booby Dixon surprisingly remained involved last week. He had 12 carries and 54 yards. He scored a touchdown, but I'm expecting Fred Jackson's role to increase. But he does look like the better running back over Bryce Brown, considering Fred Jackson is used in the passing game, and so is Bryce Brown. So Booby Dixon may be the guy that gets the carries inside the tackles more often than Brown. Tier 10. Chris Johnson, Bobby Rainey, Matt Asiata, Andre Williams, and D'Angelo Williams.
Are they related? The Williams brothers?
They both suck. So
are you allowed to have 2 same last name guys in the same tier?
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
That's tough.
2 Williams in the same tier? You're just breaking all the rules.
Don't you remember
now.
the episode of The Simpsons with the No Homers Club, and they let the one homer in, but since it was plural, they couldn't let him in?
No, I didn't.
Again, your sheltered
You're
childhood.
breaking all the rules. Out of the Williams brothers, I'll go with D'Angelo.
You're going to say D'Angelo over Andre Williams?
Yeah, I'll take sleeper D. Williams.
The problem I have is just Carolina's O-line is so pathetic. And, yeah, it is a good matchup, but he's not the goal line back. So he's going to have to break a big one, and I just don't see him doing that anymore. And Andre Williams scored a touchdown last week on 10 carries, even though Rashad Jennings should see most of the work. Tier 11, Darren McFadden, Ben Tate, Bryce Brown, Jonas Gray, and Toby Gerhart.
Ben Tate, he's definitely an interesting play going up against Carolina, who gives up the 5th most points to fantasy running backs. We talked a little bit about him when we were talking about McKinnon. He's probably going to be the starter in Minnesota once he gets into the flow with that offense. He did have 0 touches in his first game, but he's definitely the best back they have going right now. So as soon as he knows the playbook and knows which direction to run, they're going to be feeding him the ball. He was a big signing for Cleveland. I was surprised they cut him loose so soon.
Jonas Gray, he had 201 yards rushing and 4 TDs, and then he misses or he shows up late to a practice, so they don't even play him in the game. That's garbage to me. Darrelle Revis showed up late to a practice. They sat him that practice, and he played the following game. So
it's all about
I hate you, Bill
superstar.
Belichick.
I hate Bill Belichick, too. Somebody should just walk up and punt kick him in the gonads.
Tier 12, 2 guys, they're just pretty much handcuffs, Nile Davis and Alfred Blue. If for some reason Charles or Foster don't play, get hurt, whatever, these are 2 great guys to have. But
oh, yeah, if Foster doesn't play, Blue's actually pretty good behind Foster. And going up against Tennessee, they're complete garbage. So he's a good play if you need a quick insert into your lineup, if you have Foster. Is he game time decision, Foster?
He's questionable right now.
Okay.
I don't think it's a game time decision. I think they're going to figure it out.
I hate game time decisions.
Actually, though, I didn't check the Friday update, so he could already be ready to go.
Well, I'm ready to go for this wide receiver segment we're going to do after this. So thank you, fans, for tuning into our fantasy running back segment.
$40 pizza.
$40 pizza we just crushed. It was pretty good. I ate 3 pieces. It cost me $22. You can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can check us out on Facebook. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. If you want to know where we got that $40 pizza, hit us up. I'll let you know.
Peace.
PPR.